And what is up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing great. It is FairGrow up on here, FairGrow Australia channel, just coming through with another episode of Thursday THC Theatre. Trying to keep it consistent, keep it fresh. As you know, ganja is the greatest gift given, and we should all free the yarndi. So much benefit in cannabis, and the herb as it is known worldwide. So much benefit to all. But on this episode, what I was going to do, bit of a treat. Going to take a tour of the Adelaide Botanical Gardens. It's actually this is part of part of one of the courses in the Aboriginal Studies. One of the units there at the University of Adelaide. I'm currently taking that, so just thought I'd give you guys a little bit of the inside as well. It's on YouTube. You can watch it. Actually, it's unlisted. It's probably only for the students. Sorry, I got the link, so I guess it's this is a bit of a treat here to watch, and it's pretty cool that it's been filmed in this 360 degree type format. But yeah, kind of don't muck around too much longer. Much peace to everybody who's come through. Really appreciate it. I totally appreciate all the support I do get just trying to build this channel and grow for the right reasons to educate, stimulate, and change the stigma. Stimulate people's minds about the narrative and how they feel about it, and honestly, we can bring about better change. But let's get into it and go from there. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the video. Much peace.
Western Australia, that's where all my people come from, over near Perth. If you've ever been over that way. Of course, they always acknowledge that we're here on Kaurna land, because of course there's many groups of Aboriginal people here in Australia. There's around 300 groups of Aboriginal people, and we all speak many, many different languages. So Kaurna country today goes all the way down south, down to Cape Jervis these days. That's where you catch the ferry Kangaroo Island. All the way there is Kaurna land, and it goes all the way back up north around Crystal Brook, so on your way up to Port Augusta there, long way up there. And then from the Bross Ranges, so just before a place called Nuripta, all the way back down to the beach is all Kaurna land. So it's a very big area. Okay, so like I said, always acknowledge that we're here on Kaurna land. Now, I guess really today we have to use your imagination a bit and think what it would have been like here for the Kaurna people as well. So 200-300 years ago. So where we are here now, there would have been tall native grass, like taller than me. The grass was so tall and thick through these areas, you couldn't even see where you're walking. It would have been little creeks and swamps all through here. The river down here, we could have had a drink straight from the river many years ago. It would have been fresh drinking water. There would have been fish, turtles, yabbies, frogs, water birds, kangaroos and emus all through this area. Okay, and of course there would have been thousands big more gum trees, river red gums all through here as well. So Kaurna people lived here along the river in the autumn months. Okay, a lot of these places through here, they would have got flooded out in the winter. Then you'd have to walk back up to places like Murray Alta. If you have been up to Murray Alta, you'll see what I mean. Big hills up there, caves up there for shelter, fresh water. Okay, so hills in the winter months, river and creeks in the autumn months, and then of course you make your way down the coast in the summer months. Where along the coast many years ago there would have been big sand dunes, sand hills all the way along the coast. Lots of fruit would have been ready down there in the summer. So like all West Lakes, Port Adelaide, that's all man-made, concreted in today. That area would have been freshwater springs and swamps. Would have been beautiful to see many years ago. Of course, there would have been a lot more seafood, fish in the ocean too. So this way, my people didn't stay in one area for too long. Okay, because if you stay in one place for too long, you're going to eat all the food off the trees, and you're going to drink some of the water in that area. You need to give the trees time, the land time to regenerate, regrow again for next season when you return. Okay, very, very important that we look after the land. Of course, the land looks after us, so it's important that we all look after the land. Okay, so girls in.
So true, as he just said, that we've got to look after the land because it provides for us, it looks after us. So hopefully, I'll put this up, hopefully it does trigger some thought and we can all learn something a little bit, and try and, can't really, it's just, I guess take from it and try and step by step move back to nature a little bit, but yeah, let's see how it goes.
Girls in my culture, girls were the gatherers. Girls did most of the food gathering. Girls would gather up 85% of the food. So girls would gather up all the seeds and fruit, vegetables, fresh water, witchetty grubs. Boys would learn a lot of these things as well as they're growing up. Usually when the boys are around 12 or 13, It depends how good listening the boys were. Then they can go learn more about hunting then with Dad. So men would hunt for large animals, kangaroos and emus. So I guess same for kids today at school and at home. Same for Aboriginal children. It's very important that they listen, then they can learn, and then they'll look after themselves when they become adults. And that's what a lot of our dreaming, our stories teach us. Okay, so when you hear Aboriginal dreaming, they teach us those rules for living. So rules what we should and rules what we shouldn't do as we're growing up. So we've got to think about what those stories actually mean, eh? Now, we're going to go to the supermarket tree first. We haven't got too far to go. Of course, the Gunner people call them Curra. Very special for the Gunner people, these trees. But my job is to lots of little steps and cracks on the ground. So just be careful where you're walking. Because we've got a big group too, if we do our best to let other people get past, that would be great. And of course, with COVID, we keep that social distance as well. Yeah, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask me some questions if you like, if you're wondering about anything. And of course, we're not allowed to pick things off the plants in the gardens, okay, for obvious reasons. And yeah, but we can pick stuff off the ground, have a look and touch. But when we leave, we should really leave everything here in the gardens. Right, so yeah, we haven't got far to go. We're just going to go across the bridge just over this way. So if you'd like to follow me down this way, we can get started.
I think one other interesting thing I'd mention quickly is the burning that the Indigenous people did of plots of field to renew kind of nourishment and nutrients in the ground to stimulate great growth. You know, a lot of people viewed that as they didn't see what they were doing.
Okay, so we'll be here for a good 5-10 minutes or so. So you're more than welcome to sit on the grass if you like. I'm going to talk to you all about this tree here. So yeah, you don't have to, but feel free to get comfortable. It'll be hard to get back up though. That's Friday afternoon, eh? Okay. So this here, like I was saying, this is called Curra, this tree. This is one of the original trees here in the gardens. Okay, so today they're called river red gums, I should say, because they always grow on the river and the wood's very red on the inside. But today we call them supermarket trees because it's like going to the supermarket and get many different things from this one tree. So this tree here, we could tell a lot of stories, this tree. So this is here before the other trees were here, before the city was here, okay, before all of us were here. Very old trees. They're probably around 350, 400 years old, this tree. Okay, so if you look up and see how tall it grows, that's actually how deep a lot of the roots go in the ground, just as tall as the tree is. So the roots go on, there's about 3 underwater creeks that run very deep through this area. So it's tapped down underwater, so it's established itself today. Now, eucalyptus gum trees, there's probably around 1,000 different sorts of gum trees. They're what we call drought resistant today. That means all the water's held in the outer bark. So the water goes from the bottom to the top in the outside bark there. So you can make lots of deadly things, lots of good things from that bark there. You can see this big scarring on the tree just below the hollow there. Now, I'm sure the gunner men would have come in many, many years ago with stone axe, and they would have cut the outside of that bark off and slowly rip that big piece of bark off the tree, get some nice strong pieces of wood and rip that bark off there. Sounds easy just saying that, I'll cut that bark off with stone, and rip it off. That'd be real hard work doing that. Okay, so all the boys would go together and always help each other out, and then the younger boys will be learning how to do it as well. So you can make yourself a bark canoe then, from that piece of bark there. If you haven't been to the museum, you see all the artifacts in there. You see a big bark canoe in there as well. Okay, so we call them artifacts today because they're old and special, but they're my people's tools for living, eh? So we can make a bark canoe. Okay, so you can go fishing down the river. You could use it for transport to get down the river, so you don't have to walk all that way. And you could actually lean it on the side, put some branches underneath, and that could actually be your roof for your wadley, for your shelter as well. Okay. The gunnermen would also make their shields from these trees. If you have seen the gunner-shaped shield, you made from these trees here, eh? One of the hardest barks you'll find. From the bottom there, I always bring a few artifacts, tools in. That bit there, that's like it's called a burl today. That's like a wart, an infection on the tree. Okay, so you can cut.
Just stop a little quickly here, just for the people that are out of the South Australia, Adelaide region. When he refers to the acknowledgement of the Ghana people, and he's talking about the Ghana men cut the tree, he's referring to the Indigenous peoples, First Nation peoples of the like the area around Adelaide. There's many different tribes, but you know, the acknowledgement goes for the Ghana people here. So just for people who aren't in the region, that's what he's talking about.
You cut that off. And instead of just cutting the middle out to make like a bowl shape, a lot of the time you put some hot coals in there to burn the middle out. Okay, then you're not wasting energy just cutting it all with a stone there. Eh? So fire, we'll talk more about fire too, eh? So then you can make from there like a bowl shape, eh? Like a column on there, or from the side there, or even from the root system. That's what the girls use. That's called a piti today. So you could use that for carrying your food, digging, eh? Scooping up water there as well. And as you get older, Mum and Nana would have a big one, eh? Mum and Nana would have a big one to carry baby and big ones, call them one. Rock baby to sleep as well. Yeah, so that could be mainly used for carrying there. up in the hollows there's actually some around the other side. They've actually taken over this whole tree, bees. Okay, so the European bees today, they're a feral pest today. I guess they're bullies really, end up stinging up all the birds and taking over the whole tree. So they're a big problem. They're about twice the size of our native bees. So a lot of the native bees, they don't have stingers. So for my people, we could have climbed up the tree. Didn't have to worry about the bees stinging us a long time ago, eh? So remember, there would have been thousands of these trees. So there would have been branches laying around everywhere. So you could lean a branch up on the side. You could walk it up him or send the kids up down your shoulders, eh? Or a lot of the time, big old trees like this, you'd make some little holes in the outer bark, just big enough for your fingers and your toes, as far apart as you could, so you didn't damage your tree. And that's how you'd have to climb up there. Okay, so you could take some smoke up there to make the bees all sleepy. Then you can see with the honey. So honey's the sweetest food. Okay, and lots of energy in that honey there. A good way of tracking the bees. So mum and dad might say to your kids there, or brothers, eh, go get me some honey, eh? And the kids, so your kids will go to the flowers. Okay, then you get some spiderweb from the bottom of the tree there, and you tangle just a real little bit of spiderweb up in the bee's legs, just so it's hanging from his bottom. Then instead of that little bit of bark there, you look around, you get yourself a nice little feather, little fluffy feather, and you tangle it up where the bark is. Then you let the bee go. And duck, if you have a duck for dinner, for a feed, eh? Nice feed, eh, ducks? Lots of meat in those ducks. Use the feathers as decoration in your ceremonies. And there'll be eggs up there too. So when you're gathering eggs, you don't just put your murrows in there, your hands, and grab all them eggs out. Otherwise, you leave your smell, your scent behind. And okay, mum bird, she won't lay many more eggs out then. So you've got to think about things like that. Okay, so you get a long stick with some reeds on the end, and you scoop those eggs out. So then you can come back next time and get some more there as well. Okay, and there might be snakes up there eating those eggs, so you want to be careful, look up in the hollows of the tree as well. Okay, so you always take the smaller ones and let the bigger ones grow there as well. The other one will be up there will be pelter, the possums. Okay, so lots of meat in possum. So eat all the meat from the possum, use the bones for making holes in for weaving, and use the skin for many different reasons. So it usually takes about 24 possum skins to make a big cloak, and about 12 kangaroo skins. I don't have any possum skin. So the girls will mainly use possum skin, and the boys would use kangaroo. But same thing, you can make clothes. Now, what we don't eat from the animal, my people, we put back into the fire. So then you give them back to the land, but then you don't leave waste behind as well. They're very wasteful today, way too much rubbish and things in the world. Okay? So you can make clothes from possum skin, kangaroo skin. That could actually be your roof for your wadley, for your shelter. So the fur will keep you warm on the inside, insulation. So you make your frame for your wadley with some young sapling trees, and you put that over the top, eh? So insulation, and of course, animal skin's leather, eh? Of course, help keep you dry. You can get the corners, like here. That's how my people do it. Make some holes, cut another skin up into long thin strips, like your shoelace. So use the same skin to tie it all together. So then you can make yourself what we call them ganja. You can make yourself a bag, eh? So you carry your tools in there, carry your food in there, stitch it up tight enough. You can carry water in there too, eh? Other way around, the most precious one, you can carry baby in there too, eh? So you keep baby nice and warm. So very useful. So you don't waste any of it, eh? Okay. Now, also from one branch off the tree, you can make many tools from one branch. Okay? Some of them, you can make digging sticks for the girls, make I've got some handles for your knives and axes, sharp tips for your spears. You can make tapping sticks, eh, for music. We call them born tuk tuk, my people, for dreaming, for ceremonies. Many different ways for telling dreaming, singing and dancing, painting, carving, all sorts of different ways, eh. You can make, what else we got there? So it's like mum's handbag, this one. I got too many things in there, lots of things. We can make boomerangs, eh, as well, from the curve-shaped branches. And you can get medicine as well. I'm sure we've all had Vicks before. Rub it on your back and chest. So good today if you've got a cold. You want to get the nice light green leaves, the fresh leaves, rub them in your murrow so the eucalyptus oil comes out. So what do you use if you had sores or scratches or sore muscles there as well? So you get medicine as well, eh? Now you don't ever camp under these trees either. We never camped under these trees. Trees are alive, eh? Living like us, you know. You stay in the sun too long, your skin's going to peel, lips and things are going to crack. Same with these trees. When they're in the sun too long, their bark's going to come off, and their limbs, their branches are going to dry and crack, and they're going to fall down. So we never camp under these trees either, eh? So that's the returning boomerang, that one there. Okay, so only ones that are shaped like that, eh? We'll come back to you, the returning boomerang. So there's the thin and thick side, thin and thick, thick and thin. That's for the aerodynamics, so it can fly cut through there and come back to you. So you always have the flat side on your murrow in your hand and the thin side down the bottom. Okay, otherwise it won't work because there's left-handed and right-handed boomerangs. Everyone's different, eh? You're going to throw it up between your ear and your shoulder. You'll throw it up and flick it like that into the wind, and the wind helps bring it back to you. So it goes about 40 meters. We're not allowed to throw them in here, sorry. Okay, and so you throw it over the water birds when the ducks are swimming in the water. It looks a bit like this here when it comes down. It actually hovers like that. So when you throw it, the ducks would think that's a bird of prey hovering, coming to swoop down to get them. A lot of the ducks would get scared and confused, fly back the other way, back where the boys would make a big net, big trap made from some reeds and sedges, catch a big mob of ducks for dinner, and you catch a boomerang back. So that's a clever way. Then you don't get tired and thirsty chasing ducks around too, eh? And when you do catch a big mob of food like that too, don't be greedy and eat it all yourself, eh? You'd always give the biggest and the best duck to your elders. Okay, little things like that show your respect for your elders. Very important you do that. Look after your elders. Then when you get older, your kids, your grandkids, well, they should do the same for you then as well. Okay. Boomerangs are also a ceremonial instrument for making music, and you can actually make a file of your boomerang too using the sawing method as well. Okay, traditionally always made from hardwood. There's actually a boomerang down in the museum, and that boomerang's actually 10,000 years old, which is amazing, that is. Okay, so it's telling you how long we've had known about aerodynamics, which is very, very clever. How long we've had dreaming ceremonies for. Okay, and it's also telling you how old a lot of our trees are. That was made from a she oak, which I can show you when we go for a walk through the forest over there. So really, that's why we call that one the supermarket tree, eh? Get all these different things from the one tree. Now, I'm going to explain to you how to make this bush glue now. That comes from all like the Bunnings tree, this one here. Okay, we call him bulgur, and we'll talk more about fire as well. Any questions? Questions? No? Yeah. Okay, we're going to go this way, guys.
Pretty awesome, mate. I mean, hope you know getting some good info out of it. I found
you might be
it
able to
really
see the bees
cool.
around the other side once we walk past here as well.
Unfortunately, this year we couldn't actually do it because this guy was sick, so we had to watch it on this video, which was taken from last year. But if you do come to Adelaide, you can go around the Botanical Gardens. It's just in the CBD. You can check it all out.
Tree. Okay.
But I guess a lot of this information is, not going to be too prevalent either. You know, that's why I wanted to upload it. Like it's, because it's taken from an Aboriginal Studies course. So, like, you know, the mainstream information you get from going to these places is not going to be from an Aboriginal perspective. It will be from the European perspective. They won't have that knowledge about this tree. So it's fascinating. Really cool.
You can just see him flying in there. Not a lot there today. Yeah, they've actually taken over the whole tree, those bees there. So those birds there, when you come in the gardens, I reckon there'd be a big owl sitting up in that tree up there. Tree there, huh?
It's pretty cool how they've put this 360-degree technique of filming, so you can watch everything. Excuse it, sometimes I'm mucking it up a bit, but all good. Just got to talk about the grass trees now, I think.
Okay, so I'll just explain to you how to make this glue now. Okay, so this is my favourite tree, this one. This is the grass tree, the Acacia tree. So if you have been to Western Australia, you'll see a big mob of these over there, okay, everywhere. Mainly, you'll see them up like Morialta, places like that too, eh? Mainly we see them on the side of rocky hills, rocky cliff areas. That's where you mainly see them growing today. So, sorry, let's get this out. I just want to show you how to do this one, look. Okay, I think that's everything. So like I was saying, with stones we'll talk about in a moment, but grass trees, yucca trees, that's a perfect example. How a lot of our trees and grasses are designed for fire. They need fire so they can actually grow back better. So you can see by looking at this, you see all the dead leaves there, the dry leaves. So it needs fire to burn all these leaves back so it can breathe easier. Okay, then more of these big flowers come up, more seeds come out, more plants grow, more food, more animals, more everything. Okay, fire is very, very important for farming our land. So after a fire, what happens is this here comes seeping at the bottom. It's like the sap of the tree. Okay, there's like a big bulb underground and it all comes seeping out after a fire, like in big balls of sap. Okay, it's called resin because it only comes out after a fire. So what you got to do, you get your grinding stone, and traditionally you'd have another big stone, eh? Another big grinding stone. You'll see them at the museum there. They're a bit hard to come by, those big grinding stones. Then you crush it like that there. It goes like that into orange powder. Okay, then my people actually mix some charcoal in there with it, some burnt wood, and we mix some dry kangaroo poo in there as well. Because kangaroos just eat grass, so it's pretty much all done for you. Crush it up, mix it all up together. Okay. Then what you got to do, you got to heat the end of your stick up, what you're actually going to be working with. Okay, which I'll probably use this one. I heat it up. I might be able to show you, look. I think I bought, yep, there it is. I'm going to cheat. I made all these, so I'm allowed to do this as well, eh? And I want to show you, you might be able to smell it as well, okay? So when I heat that resin up by itself, that's very flammable, okay? Catches on fire real quick. It's like a bit like fireworks, really. Okay, that's why you put charcoal with it, so it doesn't just burn too quickly, so you can actually work with it over the heat. So, and the dry kangaroo poo actually makes it stronger. It binds it together, makes more of it like a fiberglass, okay? So like I said, if you leave it in there too long, see, it will catch on fire, okay? And like I said, it's beautiful, that smell. It keeps all the flies and insects away, that incense smell. So now that it's hot, you got to be careful, okay? But it's actually pliable. If you look carefully, you actually see, I can mold it however I like it. It's pliable when it's hot. Okay, you got to work quickly because it's hot, but also because look already, well, it's set already, okay? That's really important, that glue, because if you just had stones like that there, trying to cut things like make your boomerangs and things just with stone, like that in your murray, you're going to cut your fingers, hand and arm's going to get real sore doing that there, okay? That's why you make this bush glue, so you can make a long handle. Okay, then you can make a knife like this one, cut things, or you get a bigger stone in there, you can make an axe. Leverage makes the job a lot easier. Or if you've got a crack in your piti and all the water's leaking at the bottom, you can heat some up, break some off, and you can seal that crack up. That's actually waterproof too. The best thing about this glue is you can actually reuse it for a long time. So once the stone's blunt, heat it up, take it out, get another sharp stone, and keep reusing it too. So stones like that there, that's not sharp now, but when you break it at the right angle, real little sharp bits like broken glass come off, even sharper than broken glass. They say if you get it right, sharper than a surgeon's scalpel. Very, very, very sharp. Okay, so Grandpa would do that. That's a really hard technique to learn though, what angle to break it at. So that's why you'd have to go up towards the desert, to the desert to find these ones, because you wouldn't be able to find them down there. So that's what you'd trade. And other stones for chopping, for crushing, like I said. Now this tree here too, look, lots of little animals live under there too, like little bandicoots, animals like that. So my people, well, that's good for them, that'd be good for us. So all ideas, come from nature. So we thought what we do, we make our shelter, we get some young sapling trees, really tall, skinny trees. My people use acacia.
I thought that was really interesting, to the point where he said, those stones weren't available, so the desert, you have to get them from the desert people. So what the people couldn't get from their region, which was pretty much everything was in abundance, and I'm sure, they they lived in a very prosperous way. Everybody did, but they would be the involving of that trade. If they needed those stones for cutting and stuff, and they're only available in certain environmental areas where maybe volcanic rocks would be, or whatever it was, to get the sharp stones, there was a consensus of humanity. Everybody needed, we shared, and they just operated like that. That's amazing.
Acacia trees, that's my daughter's name, Acacia, named after them ones. And you bend them over, like those dome tents today when you go camping. Okay, where they cross over, you tie them together with some inner bark or some reeds and sedges to make the frame for your wadley. Get your kangaroo skin, like I said, but in the hotter months, you get big bundles of the grass tree leaves and you put them over the top, like roof tiles. Keeps the sun and rain out, but it lets a nice breeze come through. So good for making your shelter. You can actually pull those leaves right out, and the white stem down the bottom, you can chew on that white bit, and that'll just put a bit of water back into your body. Not a big drink, just gets that water moving in your mouth there, really. The flower stem there, boys make good fishing spears from them ones. They're very flexible when they're green and fresh like that there. Girls, you'd help Mum and Nana break all them seed pods when they start to break open a bit, break them right open, get those seeds out, grind those seeds up into flour. You can make some damper from these seeds too, some bread. The nectar from there, it's almost as sweet as honey. You can eat that nectar straight off there. It's nice and sweet, that nectar. It's beautiful. Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, we'll come this way. Okay, so very, very useful, the grass tree. When they're dry, guys, that's only a little one there. I'll just wait for these guys. Okay, hey guys. When they're dry, okay, that's only a little one. You get real thick ones, like real tall. So Nuttinger people actually make rafts on these ones along the Coorong there. They get lots of them time together, some reeds, some sedges, to make raft boats to go fishing on the Coorong there as well. But my people, there's one there, look, that's the same when it's dried out. Okay, so they're my fire sticks too. Okay, so we drill them together. That's how my people make fire. Okay, you always have to have a little cut like that on the side there, so the air can get to it, and so the sawdust can fall out down the bottom. Okay, I just mentioned a couple of things why we need fire. Of course, for making our tools there, for farming, also use it for hunting, for shelter, for dreaming, for sending signals, for medicine, obvious reasons, cooking, keeping warm, and sometimes to see where we're going. So fire, I think, is the most important tool, very, very important. I might be able to show you the method, the technique, how to do them, if you like. So this here, like I said, I might just show you down here, look. So if I did want to start him, I'd put a big mob of dry grass underneath, okay? Put that. So it's a lot easier too when you get a longer fire stick, okay? Because when I do it, I've got to push down. So if you get a nice long one, you can stand up, you can put all your body weight over the top, and you can go down and create more friction as well. So I just have to make another little hole. So this is both the same, 2 flower stems, 2 softwoods. Okay, I'm going to drill down real fast like that.
This goes for another like half an hour. I don't think I'll play the whole thing. I'll drop the link.
So if I put grass under
for
there,
another 5-6 minutes.
and just blow
I'll
in,
drop the link. Anyone wants to come up, have a chat, have a chop, all good. Right.
you'll catch on fire. That's ember. So that's just the sawdust. And then put grass under there, keep blowing it. So it catches on fire, eh? I'm puffed out. Sorry, that's hard. That's hard work. So it takes hard work, eh? And persistence and patience as well to do that one. Sometimes you might even want to put a bit of sand in there or a bit of dirt, because if you don't push down hard enough, the wood it'll just polish itself off. It'll go smooth on smooth, and then you'll be wasting energy. Okay, so yeah, like I said, fire is very, very important. Any questions?
Just drop it in the chat if you guys want to
like the hardware shop, eh?
keep watching.
They say grass trees too. They say they grow around 1 millimetre in 1 year. That's how long they actually take to grow.
Like, goes for another 30 minutes, so I don't know if you guys want to keep watching it. If not, I'll shut it down. It's pretty interesting what is there already, but either which way, because it's not available on
The actual
YouTube.
trunk itself. So very, very old. Sorry? Oh, it depends. It really just depends on the plant itself, really. Some of them never flower, and some of them might have 10 flowers at the same time. Yeah. So it depends. I think after a fire, that's where you get the best out of them. They should flower after that as well, but so usually after a fire. But yeah, it really depends on where they are, where they're situated, and the plant itself. Yeah. So there's a few different types. That's the thinner leaf type, and there's the larger leaf type, and then there's more of a ground cover type as well with the grass trees. All right, we're going to go back to where I first met you at the start there, guys, and then we're going to go for a walk through the forest there. Okay, so this one here, this is the Banksia. Okay, so when you see them in flower like this one, you can soak them in the water. Okay, it depends on how sweet you like it. Make a nice sweet drink with Banksias, like a bush cordial, or you can leave in there. You can ferment them as well. So yeah, don't tell the young kids that one, eh? So don't leave it in there too long if you just want a little sweet drink there, eh? So a nice sweet drink. Even when they die like that too, though, you can actually use them like a water filter too, because a lot of time in the bush, in times of drought, you got to dig for water underground. The water's a bit gritty, a bit dirty, so you can tip all your dirty water through the Banksia, and all the clean water will come out down the bottom, eh? So you clean your water. The inside of the Banksia, so that one there, like when it dries out more like that one. Okay, that just smolders away very, very slowly. So that's like an incense there. So that's actually very, very good for actually carrying your fire around with you. Like an incense, it's not a big bright torch, it just smolders away like ember. You just have to blow it, put some grass underneath, so it'll catch on fire again. So that's really good. Then you don't have to go through the energy of actually making your fire again as well. I'm actually still puffed out doing that. Okay, so that's the Banksia. And the Banksia too, they really need fire too. They grow better with charcoal in the soil and for the seed pods to burst right open too. Okay, so they're designed for fire as well, the Banksia. All right, so yeah. We're going to go around this, in this section here. This is called the Australian forest. Okay, but I've seen an owl back here before. Do you want to have you guys? You probably don't get to see owls too much. Hey, there's quite a lot of owls. That's what those, like I said, those birds are going out up in the tree there. So we'll just take a little loop, and I'll just quickly show you. Then we'll get back onto the track. I'll just show you this owl because in the gardens here, there's lots of rats and things, and lots of fruit trees. So they come in at night time and eat their nuts. The rats, I should say, that are eating the fruit and the nuts on the ground there. I'll just quickly point it out to you. Then you come back because we're going to go this way anyway. So we'll come over.
Once again,
so we're going to come back through this way anyway, guys. So I just thought I'd quickly show you. Look, it's actually good. You can actually really see him. You see? You see him up here? Look, he's actually looking right at you. Look. See, you see? Right there. Look, that's a boo-boo owl. So that's the most common type owl that you'll see. Little brown and white down the bottom. Can you see him? He's up there, look, right there, looking at us. Seeing that dark spot there? Oh, yeah. There you go. So that's so there's quite a lot of owls in the garden. So you can come around here too. You can see him from here. But that's a better place there. You can see he's looking right at you. So that's the best spot right there. Yeah. So there's lots of owls. You can actually tell. Look, see all the droppings on the leaves there. That sort of gives them away where they nest. Yeah, where they nest there as well. Of course, there wasn't any bamboo around here a long time ago, so I just thought I'd quickly point him out because, yeah, there are actually a lot of owls here in the gardens. Yeah. So we'll come back this way, guys. We might just cut back through here and I'll just quickly show you.
Oh, whoops, I was muted there. So just a pause. We're at the Adelaide Botanical Gardens having a look at some Aboriginal flora, and the plants. So it's part of one of the courses of Aboriginal Studies at the University of Adelaide. It's pretty cool information. She might have to change the title. Oops.
Yeah, we have to squeeze in a bit. Sorry, guys, there's not a lot of room in the forest here. So this is another eucalyptus, another original tree here in the gardens. So yeah, this could tell a lot of stories too. So this is called a ribbon gum today because the bark looks like ribbons twisting up there, hanging down. Again, I think nature designed this tree like this too because they grow very tall, so the fire can make it spark the trunk and then move its way along the canopy when there is a canopy up there. The garden's cut it back a while back when they started to die. So this is actually Wanagula, one of the koala's favourite foods. And he eats about 12, 15 different types of gum leaves. This is one of his favourite ones. So usually the one where Gula likes to eat the leaves, that's where you can get good medicine from too, eh? Lots of eucalyptus in there. These holes down the bottom here, you don't know what these holes are made from? They're from bardi. We call them witchetty grub. So witchetty grub, he looked like a big caterpillar. He's got biters. He's a borer. He eats a tree. That's how he made these holes. Then he starts to eat his way back out. Before he comes out of there, he makes a big cocoon. Then he turns into one of those big brown moths, butterflies you might see around a lot of night time. A lot of them would have been bardis. So the ones in the trunk there, they're bardi. They're for the men when they're out hunting. So this is like a quick stop where you keep on the move. Where girls, you help mum and nana dig a big hole around the root system of the tree. They're the real big ones on the ground. They're called corpe. So then you know how to do it, and you can teach your children how to do it one day there as well. Okay, they get through a lot more wood underground because the wood's a lot softer underground there. Okay. So how you know he's in there? So the ones on the ground are actually crack, it'll split. Where the ones in here, there'll be all fresh sawdust coming out the hole. That's how you can tell he's in there. So what we're going to do, you've got to get yourself a long stick with a bit of a hook on the end, a bit like a fishing hook on the end, eh? So you'd make a deadly better one than this here. Might get a long reed from the creek there, make that glue I just showed you, with a nice sharp stick or even a bone coming back down towards you, like a fishing hook. Cut the sawdust open, put your stick in there. Once you feel that you've actually hooked him, you pull him out really slowly and gently, eh? Because if you pull him out too quick, he'll break, eh? All his guts will come out. You don't want that to happen. Pull him out gentle, then you hang on to him. You want to bite his body first, or you might want to bite his head first. You can bite his head, just be careful with his biters, eh? He might bite your back otherwise. So bodies are actually 90% water. Okay, so when you eat them, it's like having a big drink. So they're very, very important for people in the desert and in times of drought. They'll keep you alive out in the bush. Okay? If you don't want to have a drink from him, you cook him on the coals. That'll take the water out of him, but then you still got that bit of protein, bit of fat from him there as well. Now, the other big reason why people eat bodies, which are the grubs too, because if we don't eat them, they're going to go and kill a lot of the trees. Okay, so all my people, we have different totems, different connections to the land. So your totem was a bird, that means you've got to look after them birds and the environment where they come from. So everyone have different totems to look after different things, to keep everything in balance. Okay, so this way I guess things don't become extinct and your kids, your grandkids can have the same things then for a long, long time. Okay, very, very important. So you've got family and individual totems there as well. The sap from this tree here, it's got tannin in there. So same thing, what you have in a cup of tea. You ate too many bodies, you got a tummy ache, you can eat the sap from there and that'll just settle your tummy ache there a bit there as well. Okay, so that's the ribbon gum. I was just looking at these. You guys seen these? They're probably a bit wet now. Oh, there's a better one there. From that tree there. There, look, the seed pods, eh? Oh, it's wet.
It's twice now. He's taken it off course. It's like
sorry, I've got
stuff we don't need to know.
So my kids love playing with that one. So nature designed them like that, helicopters, so the wind blows them off, so they don't all fall in the same spot. Okay, I'm going to show you some other seeds that are designed differently. They're not from Australia, they're just lots of fun, eh? Okay, so this is how you can actually tell that he's in there. Here, all the fresh sawdust is somewhere around this side here. So you can see all these little white long bits here. So you'd have to cut the bark back and actually rip the bark back. That's how you can actually tell that he's in there. So there's real little white long bits. Well, like I said, the ones underground, the ground will crack, it'll split. So these ones are bardi for the men, and these ones are corpi for the women there underground there, real big ones. Okay, so yeah, that's where you look for that white long sawdust there. So he's up under there, so it's all falling down. So you'd actually have to cut that bark back and rip that bark right back, which you're not allowed to do anyway. So we'll keep coming this way, guys, and see what else we can have a look at. Actually, while we're here too, this one here, if you just rub your fingers on there, on the leaves, the lighter the better. Just try not to be gentle, not to break into, but and then smell your fingers. Beautiful. So if you caught some fish or some goanna, you can wrap it up in the leaves, get some paper bark, soak it in the water, and steam your fish or your goanna on the coals. That's native ginger, that one. Make me hungry, eh? Or you can make a tea for that one too. If you know about ginger, that's good for you, eh? It'll keep you fit, healthy, and strong, eh? So that's a beautiful, nice. Oh, that's beautiful, that smell. I need to get some for my garden, this one. Yeah, so that's a ginger. We'll keep coming this way though, guys. See what else we can have. Okay. Just be careful of the leaves, guys. If anyone has got sandals or anything like that too, just be careful of the leaf. Okay. if you haven't already worked that out, if you know about these trees, they're very, very sharp. This is the Bunion Pine. And then the Bunion Pine, it comes from up in Queensland. I've actually seen them with pine cones on, like bigger than a football. They're huge, these big pine cones. You know, we can't see now because we're standing right underneath it pretty much. But the Bunion Pine, it's not like Christmas trees, Norfolk pointy up the top. There's like a big dome up the top, very round. That's how you can always tell Bunion Pines. Okay, so for Mum and all the girls up around Brisbane there, only for certain groups up there, it was actually Mum's job to climb right up the top of these trees. And if you do feel these leaves, I wouldn't want to climb up there, eh? Mum would want to make some special sandals to protect her hands and feet, made from some reeds and sedges or some possum skin. And she'd have to climb up there and knock them down, these big pine cones, while they're still green and fresh. Otherwise, the cockatoos, the birds would eat them all. Okay, and that's actually when you eat them, when they're green and fresh. They're really nice. Or when they're too dry, they're too hard to bite. Okay, you got to crush them up, grind them up into flour, and you make little damper cakes from them. This is where a lot of owls will live up in this tree too, being a nut tree. Okay, so you can see all these big bunches of leaves up here. They're all waddly. So this is like a possum hotel motel, this tree, eh? Okay, so if we were strong enough to shake, there'd be a big mob of possums jumping out everywhere. And there's actually these sorts of trees here with these little thin, sharp leaves. These sorts of trees have actually been around since dinosaurs have been around. Very, very old, these trees. And you don't camp under these trees for obvious reasons, eh? Especially every 2 to 3 years. People actually died walking underneath these trees at the wrong time up in Queensland. They're very, very dangerous. So I'll just see, a bit hard to come by, the rats eat them all up pretty quickly these days. Actually, I think I might have even kept one there from the other day. I'll show you. No, I didn't. I left him the other day. Sorry, guys. This is the seed pod here. So that's one pod. Yeah, there was one around here the other day. No. So the actual nuts, they're about that big. Okay, they're quite big. That's the actual pod. Okay. And inside this big nut like that. So each pine tree might have about 150 pine cones, and each pine cone might have 150 pine nuts. So there's abundance of food. So I guess like we have festivals today, they have big Bunion Pine festivals every 2 to 3 years because there's abundance of food. So very, very special for people up there in Queensland there as well. Sorry guys, I thought I had one there. Okay. Oh, there's one there, look. Sorry. Well, half of one. There's one there, look. So that's like I said, there's the pod, the size of a football, and they've got these big spikes. Okay. And there's the nut, see? Well, the rats would chew that one open, so you got to be quick, eh? So yeah, 150 of them in each pine cone. Yeah, very dangerous. You got to be careful. So there's none up in there. We wouldn't come up in here, eh? We're right at the moment. All right, so we're going to keep going this way, guys. See what else we can find down this way. So this is definitely where the Gunner men would have lived. This was their wadley, their home, their shelter, this one here. Okay, so another river red gum like our first tree I showed you, but well, it's dead now. You can see, like I mentioned earlier, they're drought resistant, so the water's held in the outer bark. Okay, so that's why I see a lot of gum trees dead but still standing like this, because that water acts like a frame and holds that outer bark up. When other trees die, they don't gum trees, they'll just fall straight over. But gum trees keep standing for many, many years. So another reason why you need fire, to burn all that dead bark out in there to create more room. Okay, I think maybe the men would have camped here with all the tall grass and the river just down here. So this would have been a good hunting ground many years ago. Kangaroos and emus have to come through this area. And also for the Gunner people too, that to be at certain places along the river, not just for seasonal movement, but also for ceremonial reasons, for special occasions as well. So that's another big reason. And also things like waste as well, like your body waste and things as well. You got to give things time to break back down into the earth as well. Okay. A lot of sad stories about these trees. Okay, a lot of these trees being cut down today for making way for roads and buildings and furniture, firewood, fuel, all sorts of different things, eh? So that's a red gum that got cut down many years ago. That's why it's called red gum. That was up near the freeway, near the toll gate up there. Okay, but like I said, there would have been thousands more of these trees all through here. I wouldn't want to leave this one. This is deadly, eh? So safe to sleep in because no branch is going to fall on you. So it always block that side off. That's where the cold air comes from, down south. Block this side off here. So you get some tall skinny trees, stick them up on the side, get some grass tree leaves or your kangaroo skin over the top there, or your paper bark's really good as well. Have your fire at the front, and each area like this would have a big grinding stone left behind too. You wouldn't carry a big grinding stone up in the hills and down the beach with you. You'd have one in each area, like I mentioned, for grinding up your seeds and flour, damper, ochre, bush glue, like I showed you. So you'd always have your grinding stone there as well. So that's, yeah, Cara, that's your wadley there. Probably would have been around 550 years old before it died, even longer than that now though. So definitely where the Gunner men would live. There's actually a man used to live in this tree only about 70, 80 years ago, this tree. So the Gardens have actually got a picture of him in the education department there. It looks decked out, looking real deadly. Yeah, pots and pans and clothesline, kitchen sink, mattress. But he wasn't paying rent, he actually had to go along. So yeah, could tell a lot of stories, this tree. And you might see some smaller ones around town too. And you think, oh, you can't really sleep in those smaller ones. So you can smoke your meat in the smaller ones there too. There could have been little smokehouses there as well, I reckon. We're going to go back this way, guys, and yeah, a couple more trees, and then I'll let you start your weekend, eh? Thank you.
I might just leave it there, unless you guys are still keen to finish it off. I don't know, you might as well. People are still hanging around, eh? So I just skipped a bit actually. There's 7 minutes to go. So I'll just play it. Bit of good education
Pine
there.
cones, this is a girl, and the boy is the one with the brown pollen on the end of the branches. That's how you can tell a girl and a boy. So you look at the branches, and they grow real big, like there's some at the back here. They grow very, very tall. There's not many good branches that you can make boomerangs from, so you'd always be looking down at the root system of the trees. They come out in the shape of a boomerang. So you can make boomerang shelters, spears as well. These here, though, they're actually the branches. So you need a magnifying glass to see the leaves. The leaves, when you break that apart, those little spikes there, they're the actual leaves. And what you do, you chew on those leaves, and what it does, it disactivates your saliva glands. So you chew on that before you have to walk a long distance in the heat. So you're not like walking along like spinning all the time, wasting all your bodily fluids. You're keeping them in your body. Then when you get to where you're going, then you have a big drink then. Okay. You can put these over the top of your hot coals. Lots of these branches here. Put some fish over the top. Nice smoky flavour, so you can smoke your fish on there as well. Okay. So that's the sheo. Yeah. Very old. Okay. I might show you a couple more trees, guys, and then we're done. Any questions? Any questions? So you can see at the back here, look, the next stages. That's how big they grow. Look how tall that one is. There, look. Beautiful, very hard, strong wood. Like I said, with red gums Curragh, these would have been everywhere. Yeah, all through here. Very hard, strong wood.
Sorry. Excuse my the techniquing of the video.
We'll just keep going. Down here's a bit more room. Section.
Much peace. Cheers, everybody hanging around. I do hope you enjoyed the content. It's pretty cool. I found it awesome. I'll put the link in the chat.
Okay, so this is another tree from Queensland. You can actually tell this one comes from Queensland by its big green leaves, from rainforest type area. And it's like this in the rainforest, real thick. So a lot of birds do a lot of walking on the ground looking for feed. So what you do with these seed pods is you actually make a bird trap with these seed pods. So first you've got to get some seeds and fruit that birds like to eat, put them on the ground, and you get these seed pods and put them in a big circle around the seeds. So a bird will come walking along and he has to step on these seed pods. So when he steps on them, they're going to stick to his feet, And then he'll try and get them off with his beak. He'll get stuck on his beak, and he'll try and get them off with his wings. He'll get stuck on his wings. Next thing you know, have him stuck all over himself, So you go make your bird trap, go and pack some fresh water, come back to check on your bird trap. He'll be rolling around trying to get these off himself, and you can have some bird for dinner then. Okay, so that's a clever way. Then you don't get tired and thirsty chasing them birds around, You can save your energy. And nature's clever too, That, like I mentioned, the helicopter seed, nature designed these ones sticky, so the birds can take them off. So I might actually stick to a bird for its whole entire life till that bird eventually dies. So automatically this tree's got a natural host, a natural compost to start growing somewhere else, which is really clever, Yeah, you can have a feel if you like, you don't have to, but just don't get them in your hair, okay? So, but imagine if that stuck to a feather, it wouldn't be coming off too quickly, or I'd get all tangled up in the feather. Quite easy. They're not even that sticky. Usually they're actually 10 times as sticky as that. Really, really sticky. Even when they dry out, see, they dry. See, they stay sticky for a long time too. And the birds like them too because it's actually, see, that one's a pretty quite sticky. Look, the birds like them too because it's actually easy pickings for the birds because lots of little bugs and spiders get stuck to them too. So they come up and eat the bugs there as well. So that's the parapara. So if you do get it on you, you get the tips like that, Pick them off. All right. So that's the parapara. Okay, sorry. I might show you one more tree. Actually, while we're here too, look, that's the Bunion Pine, which I mentioned, that little one there, like the Bunion Pine. So people actually thought that was extinct only a few years back, the Bunion Pine. Okay, just be careful. There's a big wasp nest up there, Just be careful, don't knock it. Yeah, so they've been around for a long time too, The Bunion Pines there. Those thin leaves there. All right, we're going to finish off just over here, guys, at the bottle tree. Finish off with a drink there at the bottle tree. Okay, so this is another tree from Queensland. This is the bottle tree. Okay, usually though you see bottle trees and they're twice as short and twice as round as this one. Okay, this is a very tall bottle tree because he's competing with all the other trees in here for the sun. He's trying to get up there and get that sun. Now the bottle tree, if you listen, it's like a big rainwater tank, Lots of water in there. Now to get the water out, you'd have to get your stone axe and cut the outer bark off and take the outer bark off, And all the water inside would come trickling out like a slow running tap. Then you'd have to get your Corderman and catch all the water. Now when there's not a lot of water in there, you'd have to cut the inside bark out and pull that inner bark out and squeeze it like a sponge. It's really soft and stringy, that bark. The most important thing though is once you finish getting a drink is that you put the piece of bark back in there, So you have to get some wet mud first, put the mud in there, get your piece of bark, put that in there, get some stones, wedge them in there to hold the bark in there and get some more wet mud and patch him right back up, Otherwise it'd be like taking the plug out the bark to sink, and all the water will leak out. If you plug him back up properly, next time you come back, you're gonna have to cut into a little bit then, okay? Come back and get a drink. The sap from there is nice and sweet too. You can eat that sap off there. But if you look after him, you can come back, your kids, your grandkids can come back to the same spot for many, many years. Okay, so of course we need trees, A lot more than trees need us. It's so important that we look after them, very, very important. there are a lot of sad stories about these trees. Not all that long ago, really. A lot of farmers cut these trees down, split them down the middle. Times of drought, the cows ate the bark for about 2 or 3 days. But after that, the tree was dead. You couldn't keep coming back to them. Okay, so like I said, we need to look after trees. Very important. At the museum there, you will see these big, long, wide shields, and little bark canoes. They'd be made from trees like this because it's nice and light and soft, used for absorbing. Okay, so you can tell by its weight, like I was saying with the fire sticks, nice and light, softwood, heavy, hardwood. Okay, so if you were to make a shield or your bark canoe, you get lots of wet mud and clay and patch them up so it didn't get infection as well there. So that's the bottle tree. And I always tell the little ones, all these sprinklers around here, they're all hooked up underground to the bottle tree today. Okay. So just on that today.
I think that's another huge point. Like I mentioned before, how the burned areas. There's evidence of burning patches for the regeneration of the soil. Same thing he's saying there. It's for the trees, and the way that ecology or ecosystem was run by the agricultural system, I guess, from the Indigenous, how it was preparing for the future and the generations to come. It wasn't, as he just mentioned there, like European farmers would have come, cut the tree down so that their cattle could have a drink and a feed, but it just lasted them for a day or two. Whereas there was hundreds of years of life or thousands of years of life with nourishment for generations within that tree. That's just, I guess it's the system and the behavioral, that the community puts into place. I think it's quite evident, which is, longer lasting, in harmony with the earth, rather than just a one-off production, but sad to see we're in this state, but, good things to learn from it. So much things, and obviously it's interesting, how the European, I guess, settlers looked at the Indigenous people as being so primitive and, in their way of life, but it was really far beyond any kind of vision or perception they had. The intelligence that was in use to keep everything in growth, generation, for the community and the people in the future, and the soil and the animals. It was all just one, and it's just amazing how they could be doing that and keep such high levels of food, water. Everything was in abundance for these people, and they're living so happily for so long. By doing the form of burning this patch, and then next year it's ready to plant, or it'll give good growth for the animals, which will then you can hunt them. All sorts of really cool, intelligent ideas from it. But easy which way. I think the links in the chat, so if anybody wants to pop up, can. But if not, all cool. Probably drop out pretty soon. It's been about 50 minutes. I really appreciate everybody hanging around, and I do hope you've learned a little bit from there. I think there's not much to go. He's finished up. What is it? Another 40 seconds, so let's let him kick it. But
today, guys, I hope you did learn a little bit more about Aboriginal culture, and good luck with the rest of your studies. Any questions? Any last questions before we finish up? Sure. I wouldn't know the capacity. Nah, it's hard to say to predict that as well. But it's like filtered water. Okay. Yeah, so it's just like a big sponge in there, just soaks it all up. So, but like I said, usually you see them in Queensland and they're twice as short, really well round. There's a few around town. There's a couple, around town down at Regency there. There's one in someone's front yard there. It's hard to say exactly how much you in there as well. They look very similar, don't they? But they're actually not even related. Yeah, they do look very similar. Right. So enjoy your weekend, guys. Again, good luck with your studies. And Mike, we just say knocking you. See ya.
Knocking. Interesting. Yeah, so that was really cool. It's good to see everybody to hang around and which I hope you learn a little bit. You can watch it back on replay if you want to put it in a little bit of a faster speed to just move it along a bit better, but either way. So yeah, that's cool, man. We got to turn back to nature and just use what's been given to us, and yeah, it's so evident how you can like how they have abundance for generations and generations to come, and like for that time being, everything is plentiful, and it's going to be plentiful because they planned it all out. And in the system that we've got going at the moment, it's the way we farm and waste. And I guess he's also said they didn't waste; they put everything back into the fire. So all the skins, anything that wasn't eaten from the animal, they put it all back into the fire so that it got burnt, and then it went into the soil, and then there were nutrients there. So there wouldn't have been much of a landfill rubbish dump going on. Heaps of ideas for a community, and I guess there's what's it there is a system of farming, a permaculture is it called? I think. Hey, you're totally subsistent. And I've been to a couple communities in like New South Wales where they're doing that. It's not very big, probably held. They would have like tourists come through as well. There were sleeping quarters for them. We played a gig there a couple of times. But yeah, they had their food there. They had the people. I guess they had their own little school there. On a mountain, pretty cool. So it's just it's a good way to live. So yeah, bro. Cheers to everybody, man, coming through. Hope everyone is like keep it well, because it's about looking inside. I guess they say it. Look inside yourself, find your direction, follow that path, be the best you can be honest, be yourself. But it's kind of like listening to your intuition. Follow your intuition. We know what's good. We know what's right. We know what's good for the earth. We know what's good for ourselves. So we got to kind of put those things into play. Easier said than done, I guess. There's a distraction of work. There's so much when you step outside. Everybody else is hustle bustle around, but I guess you've got to try and maneuver in a way of just centering yourself, finding time to center, think, be what's right. Obviously ganja helps so much. That's why I think a lot of people, if we all did partake and consume, didn't necessarily have to smoke. You could eat it or drink it or whatever, but everybody's vibes would just be so much more calm, and I think there'd be community would be a lot better place, as it probably was hundreds of years ago, with everybody partaking in the plan. But yeah, yippity, we all know that. I'm sure we all know that. So high grade all round. I'll pop this Billy, pop this cone, and I'll probably be out. Much thanks everybody hanging around. It's been an hour. I really appreciate everybody doing that thing. I'll be back probably on Saturday. I'll do an Australian review. On Sunday doing Children at Church episode 2. And more than welcome if anybody's got any ideas or stuff they want me to look up. Just chuck it in the comment or in the chat. I'll be more than happy to do it, because it would help progress the channel. Give me some ideas for something that you're interested in. But I'll definitely keep up trying find new things that keep coming up. Just promote the yarndi, pretty yarndi. All right, pop it up. If you got a Billy out there, pop it up. Much cheers.